Welcome to this simulated training game between two AI club players. We start with a classic Ruy Lopez.
A reliable choice, but in these simulations, the standard theory often flies out the window quite early.
White has castled, but black responds with the surprising h5.
A bold declaration of intent. Why bother with slow development when you can just start a kingside storm?
White plays d4, and black immediately captures with the knight.
And there it is, a thematic sacrifice, trading a piece for pure, unadulterated momentum.
The bishop is traded on e6, leaving black with doubled pawns.
Ugly, perhaps, but that e-file is now a highway for black's pieces. Structure is a secondary concern when you're this active.
White takes the knight on f6, forcing black to double their f-pawns as well.
Look at that heat map, a complete mess of purple and blue. White's trying to dismantle the defense, but they're just opening the door for black.
Black pushes the pawn to h3, cramping white's king.
The bone in the throat. Once that pawn hits h3, the white king's life becomes quite miserable.
The queens are traded off on e3.
A calculated move. Black's basically saying, I don't need a queen to win this, and transitions straight into the endgame.
Black begins expanding on the queen side with b5 and b4.
Classic space grabbing. White's now forced to defend two fronts at once, a bit overwhelming, isn't it?
White captures on f8, but black recaptures with the rook.
Simplification. White removes a defender, but that rook is now perfectly placed to support the advance.
Black's rook moves to e8, eyeing the central files.
Smart, he's not committing to a side yet, he's just keeping his options open. Do you think white can even contest that center now?
The rook penetrates to a2, attacking the base of the pawn chain.
The seventh rank, the dream for any rook. White's queenside is simply crumbling under the pressure.
Black brings the other rook into the game with rd8.
Just look at the heat map. The blue is swallowing everything. White is huddled in a tiny red pocket on their own side.
White tries to create counterplay with f5 and e6.
A desperate scramble for counterplay. If white can't manufacture a passed pawn here, it's game over.
Black retreats the bishop to e8.
A bit of tidying up. Black is just making sure there are no surprises before launching the final assault.
The a6 pawn is finally removed.
And with it, white's last shred of hope. It's a total collapse.
The rook moves to c4, targeting the c-pawn.
Surgical precision. Black isn't sprinting, they're just methodically removing every single asset white has left.
White sacrifices the rook on e6, and black responds by taking on g6.
A flurry of trades, but it's a panic move. The resulting material imbalance is just catastrophic.
The black king moves to c7, stepping away from any potential checks.
Safety first. The king is a fighting piece in the endgame, but only if he's not getting checked every second.
The rook shifts to d4, keeping the white knight under observation.
Containment. Black is essentially putting that knight in a cage.
The king moves to b7, further securing the queen side.
The king is a fortress now. White's remaining pieces are basically just spectators watching the end.
The rook slides to d1, preparing for the final push.
It's almost over. Black owns the files, now it's just a matter of timing the final blow.
White manages to promote the h-pawn to a queen, but black immediately recaptures on h8.
A momentary flash of hope, but promoting a pawn just to have it captured. That's a very fancy way of doing nothing.
Black promotes their own a-pawn to a queen on a1.
And there it is, the decisive blow. Now it's just a matter of the king walking to the finish line.
White tries to check with the knight on e8, but it's a futile effort.
Spite checks, the last refuge of a player who knows they've lost but wants to be annoying about it.
Black brings the queen into the attack with qc3+.
The net is closing. The white king is being herded into a corner with absolutely no escape.
The game ends with a final checkmate on h2.
Clinical, from the middle game chaos to this final blow, it was absolute precision.